We are still working on the most important mantra of Rudra. As I mentioned, in all the Vedas, the Rudra Ekadashini, the Rudra is the most important. And in that, the eighth Anuvaka is the most important. And in the eighth Anuvaka, it is Namah Shivaya. And in Namah Shivaya, it is Shiva. So we are trying to understand why this name Shiva has become so important, has become so significant. It is so universally applicable. And I also gave the grammatic root, grammatic derivation of the word Shiva, coming from Vashakantav. That means it is to which every human being is going towards, because all of us want auspiciousness and happiness in future. So we continue to look at, in this study, that we discovered the nomenclature called Shiva is the highest. What is highest? What can be termed as the highest of all? It is where the essence of a energy is all the time present through creation, srishti, preservation, sthiti, and dissolution, laya, without itself getting modified. So outside all the things are being modified, but that which makes things change itself does not change. And that is Shiva. It is also called the Pratyak Chetana. Chetana means consciousness. Pratyak means that is within. The consciousness within all the manifest entities is called Pratyak Chetana, and that Pratyak Chetana is also Shiva. Then, this Pratyak Chetana, that is that which is the indweller of everything, cannot be anything other than absolute bliss and absolute auspiciousness. So what is the nature of Shiva? The nature of Shiva is Parama Mangala Swarupaha. A Swarupa, or a entity which has the characteristic of absolute auspiciousness. Now we have seen that all I spoke is already in the superlative degree. So when I use the word Shiva, it is already, with this explanation, it is in superlative degree. So why should the Rishi now use the term Shivataraya, which is the complementary degree, and then use Shivatama elsewhere in the superlative degree? So why this comparative degree and this superlative degree has to be entered? Shiva, Shivatara, and Shivatama. So when you contemplate, as you go about in the world with our everyday life, and constantly contemplate on the auspicious nature of the indweller, no matter whatever flux is going on in the outside in our lives or in the world, as we go about in this world, we have to ask this question, very important philosophical question. Why is this world necessary at all? Why should there be this Jagat? And why throw us into this world? What is the purpose? We did not volunteer. We did not opt it. We were just cast into this world. So, if Jagat, the world, is the creation of the most auspicious entity, Paramamangala Swarupa Shiva, an auspicious entity cannot create something that is inauspicious. How can that happen? So, how should we look at the world? We should look at the world as absolutely auspicious. Though our perception is that there is a lot of ugliness in the world. So one of the most important indications as to why the mere mention of Shiva is inadequate is because we have not established the right kind of relationship with the world. So when you establish the proper relationship with the world, then in that case, for us, this Shiva becomes Shivataraha. A. Reason B. Answer to the question why this world is created, because all the jivas, that is all of us, all the living beings who have taken birth, only because of the past karma. If it was not for the past karma, why should we take birth? Isn't it? So, because of the past karma we have taken birth, it is necessary for us to take birth because of the past karma, because the field in which the karma can be exhausted is only the world. So, Jagat is Kshetra. Without the Kshetra of the world, there is no hope for resolution of our karmas. So now look at the world. When the world is presented before us as an opportunity for us to neutralize the karma, how can that world be inauspicious? And therefore, we have got to completely change our view about the world. We have to look at the world only as auspiciousness. When you look at the world as that which is auspicious and Mangala, the Shiva, the entity called Shiva, for me, he becomes Shivatara. Isn't it? Because it is not a mere intellectual or a spiritual experience of the auspiciousness of Shiva or of the Atman, but I also see that in every day in the world. So it becomes Shivatara. Another grand opportunity with this Jagat, for the creation of Jagat by Shiva. He gives us comfort and hardship. He gives us Sukha Dukkha. Having given us Sukha Dukkha, he gives us wisdom to discriminate between what kind of our actions create Sukha and what kind of our actions result in Dukkha, whether in this birth or in later birth. How does he give that wisdom to us? What is the source of this wisdom to us? It is the lineage of our Gurus, the Guru Parampara. For the Guru Parampara to exist, you need the world. For the Shastra, the scripture to be created by the Guru Parampara, you need the world. Because for the Guru Parampara and the Shastra to exist, to communicate and to be propagated, you need the world. So this is also the reason why Shiva becomes Shivatara, by giving us not only an opportunity to acquire jnana, by giving us birth, not only by creating the kshetra or the field called Jagat where we can neutralize our karmas, but also provide the tools for neutralizing the karmas in terms of Guru Parampara and Shastra. Now tell me, is this Shiva not a Shivatara? Then, how does he teach us? What is the methodology he uses? It is not just theoretical teaching of a teacher sitting in a classroom environment and teaching. The world is our teacher. What does the world do? The most graphically, unmistakably, we understand the nature of the world because of the Shadvikaras. Right in front of our eyes. You don't have to study any book, you don't have to study any scripture, you don't even need the Guru. The 6 changes that happen to all living beings is graphically, very clearly presented before us, and then every single day he gives us an opportunity for cultivating discrimination and dispassion, Viveka and Vairagya. He teaches us as a Guru by inhering and manifesting as the many, though he is one. This is beautifully summarized by Bhartrhari in his actually grammatical text called Vakyapadiya. Here is the quote. Ekameva yadapnoti bhinna shakti vyapashrayat aprutatvepi shaktibhyaha prataktatvena vartate. The meaning is, though it is only one, single, on the basis of one unique power, although the Shiva is no different from his power, Shiva's power is not different from his nature, still he appears as different. So what is the skill we need now? Not only we have to see the one in the different, but we must also be able to reduce the variety into one. And that he gives us an opportunity by Guru and Shastra. Ekasya sarvabijasya yasya cheyam anekadha bhoktru bhoktavya bhedena bhogarupena cha sthiti. So how does Shiva exist in the whole universe, in the world? He is only single, one who is single. He is the cause of all the beings of the manifold existence, but manifests as the enjoyer, bhokta, as the enjoyed, and as enjoyment itself. Shiva becomes Shivatara only when we see the one manifesting as the enjoyer, the enjoyment, and the enjoyed. That is why we have mantras like Namo Hantre cha Haniyase cha. One who kills and one who is killed. One who kills, one who is killed, the act of killing. All those three are manifestation of one power, one Shakti in different ways. One who understands this will become Shivatara. Now you see, how does this Shiva go to even to a higher realm? For those jivas who have actually acquired lot of merit, for those who have got merit, they go to heaven, they go to Swarga. So when they go to heaven, what is happening in heaven? In heaven, this jiva is going to meet with other sages. This is the Pitriyana. When he meets with the other sages, the satsanga of the phenomenal life continues with the satsanga in the heavenly life also. Therefore, is Shiva only limited to the Jagat? He is not even limited to Jagat, he is extending beyond also. And therefore, he becomes Shiva Tamaha. This is the reason why we perform the Rudrabhisheka on the 13th day after a person dies and on the first anniversary of the person's death. It is because we are acknowledging that that particular jiva is in the company of the great sages. Then, how can we experience this Shivatara when we are living? Because who knows about posthumous, what happens after death? Nobody has come back and told us. So let us think about what we can do when we are alive. Shiva becomes Shivatara and Shivatama only when, while living, because of Guru, Shastra, contemplation and meditation, we purify our mind. Antahkarana Shuddhi. Purification of the mind must reinforce our commitment, Shraddha, our devotion, Bhakti, and pursuit of knowledge, Jnana. What kind of bhakti, devotion it should be? It is achala, unshakable. It should be nirmala, absolutely pure, taintless. And it should be nishkama bhakti, it should be without any agenda. You just love God because it is Shiva. What is the Shivatama? The highest of the high. It is when, having gone through the world, establishing a perfect relationship with the world, purification of one's own heart, perfection in bhakti, jnana and dhyana meditation, one attains the grace of God. In addition to that, he gets bliss and joy, happiness and bliss, which is Ananda. So Suta Maharshi says in the Bhagavata, Avismritihi Krishna Padaravindayoho. Avismritihi means not forgetting. Not forgetting the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who is worthy of our worship. Kshinoti abhadrani. He completely destroys all that is inauspicious. Sharma tanoti cha. Also gets peace of mind. Sattvasya shuddhim. Purification of the mind. Paramatma bhaktim. Pure devotion to God. Jnanam cha vijnana viraga yuktam. Knowledge, experience and dispassion. All these one attains when you discover Shiva, Shivatara and Shivatama. Avismritihi Krishna Padara Vindayoho Kshinoti Abhadrani Sharma Tanoti cha Sattvasya Shuddhim Paramatma Bhaktim Jnanancha Vijnana Viraga Yuktam. So all these things can also be argued that how the Jagat or the world is actually a shadow of Shiva, and as a shadow of Shiva, all the beauty and the grandeur of Shiva can be seen through the shadow. Sureshwaracharya writes in the Vartika, Aishwaryam Ishwaratvam hi nasti pratak sthitihi. The world and its glory, the grandeur of Ishvara, they are not two different ones. Purushe dhavamanopi. When a person is running, what happens to the shadow? Chaya tamanu vartati. The shadow also runs behind him. Like that, the world is actually following Shiva only. That is why we always look up to tomorrow with hope, with joy, with expectation. Otherwise, we would never get up in the morning. There will be no will to get up in the morning. And that is Shiva. Shvetashvatara Upanishad also says, Jnatva Shivam Shanti Matyantameti. One who understands Shiva like this, he will attain peace which will never end. So how does this Shiva becomes Shivatara, becomes Shivatama? Shiva, he becomes Shiva by Ajnanam Jnanado Vishnu. Mahavishnu is the one who gives knowledge to the ignorant. Ajnanam Jnanado Vishnu. So once you have got jnana, what happens? Jnaninam mokshadascha saha. One who has got knowledge, he is the one who gives liberation. Standard philosophical question, not only in Hinduism but in Buddhism and other religions, is after liberation what? After getting moksha what? Answer comes here. Anandadascha muktanam. For those who are liberated, he gives bliss. Sa evaiko janardanaha. He is that one Janardana who will give the ignorant, he will give knowledge. For the knowledgeable, he will give liberation. For the liberated, he will give bliss. By giving knowledge to the ignorant, he is Shiva. By giving liberation to the knowledgeable, he is Shivatara. By giving bliss to the liberated, he is Shivatama. And that is how we have to understand the concept of Shiva, Shivatara and Shivatama. That is why in this scripture the Rishi used Namah Shivaya cha Shivataraya cha, and elsewhere as Vidushtama Shivatama. So what is the subtext of all these things? By knowing Shiva, one attains Shivatara. By knowing Shiva, all our ignorance are dispelled. Then we go to know Shivatama by getting liberated. And then we get bliss. And after all, bliss and Ananda is the highest experience. Raso Vaisa Rasaghevayam Labdvanandi Bhavati. Do you know where it comes? Taittiriya Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad. Raso Vaisaha Rasaghevayam Labdvanandi Bhavati. What is the highest rasa? Rasa means essence. What is the highest essence of human existence? It is to be blessed and in bliss. Once you have reached bliss, you are in the state of Shivatama.